Haro. A moment. S'il vous plaît. Are you ready, Myro? Hi! Painting go 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 go. Painting go 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 go. Painting go. Painting go, painting go go. Painting go 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 go. Painting go 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 go. Go, 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 go. Painting go, 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 go. Painting go. Strap those keys, you mischievous river monkey. Painting go, painting go, go. Everybody, put your fairty mortar hands together for Myro the monkey. Painting goo, 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 goo. Painting goo, goo, goo. Go, 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 go. Painting go, go, go. Painting go, 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 go. Zip, zip. Painting go, 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 go. Myro! Painting go. Painting go. Painting go go. Painting go go. Painting go. Everybody give it up for Myro the monkey! I don't feed him. I don't clothe him. I don't even accommodate him. He just plays the piano and then I kick him the fuck out of here. I may be a merciful demigod. However, I'm a bit of a cheap fuck when it comes to my animals. Especially ones that are sent by rival gods. Isn't that right, Myro? Isn't that right? You cute little fuck you. Sent here by him, the Monkey King. Myro was sent to torment me, and I have employed him. Technically. I mean, like I said, I do not pay him. You pay him! If you have any honor, you will pay the monkey! Because he plays a fucking good piano. It's decent. It sure do. It sure do, monkey. It sure do. If you have any honor, you will place a tip in the monkey's bowl. Greetings. Konnichiwa. Morningu. Apparently, it's not morning here. It's 3 p.m. GMTU. Actual time. The only time is European time. It's the only time I believe in. Just like your refusal to use the metric system. And then Asians just being Asians. You are do things at the wrong time. But the sun's not here when it's over there. I know! Doesn't that kind of not prove flat Earth, but like, you know. We're getting off track. We're getting off track. I'm not here to rant. Not today. Today is not rantingu. Today is gonna be a good paintingu. Hi. Hi. I believe today be a good paintingu. Right. My beloved Japanites. Prepare yourselves. Are you other 30 mortars? You can prepare yourselves too, but I don't care. I don't care about the other 30 mortars. I care about my beloved Japanites and their high-quality entertainment. So, shall we begin? Ah! But first, I must descend to proper paintingu posture. My stool is broken. There we go. Right. Now that my glorious top-knot is in view. Tobias! My feathery friend. We need a ding. We need a ding of the dong. Cleansing vibrations I send to you, my beloved Japanites. Oh! Those cleansing vibrations just cleansed my lungs. Perhaps it's the pollen. I did the garden the other day. I should have taken photos of like before and after. Then I could have put something up in sync with the current Bertarian Pride Month thing. Of like, look what I did. It's good, yes. Beautiful. My beautiful garden. I mowed the lawn. And I did a bit of weeding. Chippity chop. Snips. Sawed a bit. You know? Those thorn bushes. Thorn bushes are a cunt. Thorn bushes are stubborn. Thick. Dense. Seems like decent wood. I wonder if that's the thing. Like thornbush wood. You know? Because like there's like the main ones like oak, maple, ash, timber. All this fucking shit. Like, what about obscure woods? You know? Uncommon woods. Twigarindiburu. Stabru. Desmondu. Griffu. Corberu. Other Corberu. Griffu. Did I say Griffu already? I'm not sure. Welcome, my beloved Japanites, to another glorious episode of Paintingu. As you can see, the glorious light of heaven is shining brightly upon Paintingu this fine day. And I have the proper setup. The laptop has been returned to its rightful place, away from the female. And my setup is back to normal. So, the visuals seem to be far superior. I can now see on my tiny screen at least some of the details. So, without any further ado, we return to Kasser Lichtenstein. To perhaps this Tuesday. It is Tuesday, isn't it? What day is it? It is Tuesday. It is this Tuesday. Perhaps we were finish Kasser Lichtenstein. Probably not. I have many ideas. There's going to be a lot of cannons. This raspberry's going down. But anyway, I said without further ado, I ride! There was much ado. Let's go. I gave you forewarning as per usual to gather your chi. Those of you who have not gathered your chi prior to witnessing the glory of painting, now is your time. Inhale. Hold. Exhale. Inhale. Hold. Exhale. Sip, sip. Glorious. Oh. My spine knows it's time off for the painting goo. The painting goo ship is anchored off the coast of Germany. Kasser Lichtenstein has a many mysteries to be unsheathed, to be brought into the right. I place my royal rank upon my demi-divine knee. Being a demigod, I am demi-divine. Some would say semi-divine. But nobody likes semis. Why only go halfway? You must follow true in life. Painting goo! Painting goo. Painting goo. An example painting goo is of following true in life. I just beat the mic with my fan. My apologies. Painting goo. It's painting goo. Painting you! Painting me! It's painting goo. It's fucking goo! Painting you! Painting me! It's painting goo. It's fucking goo! Yo! My brother Garos! Come! Remind the 30 mortars what they must do on painting goo. My resident 850-pound Siberian tiger, who was formerly addicted to cocaine. I rescued him from the clutches of a Colombian jogrord named Don Branco. Behold, our brother in farms, Garos. Garos! A legendary feline he is. So much cocaine he consumed that his eyes gained superpowers. To keep his powers at bay, I have placed an aluminium bucket and sunglasses upon my kitty's visage. He does not mind this, for I allow him to speak for painting goo with his signage. Riker and subscriber, you cunts, to painting goo, or I will fling my tiger at you. Garos will annihilate you in mortal combat. Nobody wants to fuck with an 850-pound, formerly addicted to cocaine Siberian tiger. I wouldn't. And I'm half God! Ugh. What's that, Miniberu? What is it you say, brother? What news do you have for the glorious and beloved Japanites and the rest of you filthy mortals? Whisper it to me, my furry friend. Listening to a bear whisper to you in Russian is an experience. I cannot tell you that much. Ah yes! Miniberu kindly reminds me to display to you the Riv, Raf, Ruv t-shirts of PEINTEINGU. Glorious in their design they are. In collaboration with Printer Beru. You cannot find him on Instagram. Riv, Raf, Ruv, PEINTEINGU. Some of the proceeds of you purchasing PEINTEINGU t-shirts goes to Bertarian Ozarks. It is a good, true, and beautiful use of your currencies. We have many currencies here on PEINTEINGU. The main one of which is honor. And if you have any honor, you will pay for PEINTEINGU in many ways. There are many ways to pay for PEINTEINGU. And those ways are linked in the description of this live video. Buy a t-shirt, buy a mug, buy a painting, or just give the monkeys some money. Be you a humanitarian, an animal lover. Well, not that kind, you know what I mean? Anyway, enough advertisements and sharing of things. I am not a marketer. I am a painter. A god painter. Well, demigod. So, like shitting, many of your mortar ways are new to me. This concept of commerce is fascinating. You mortars seem to have difficulty doing things just because you can do them. It seems to me you need motivation. Here on PEINTEINGU, one of the many services I provide, apart from allowing you to witness the glory of PEINTEINGU in the first place, I attempt to offer you an opportunity to earn yourself some honor in this realm. In these times that lack honor, you can earn honor by paying for PEINTEINGU. It is done. I have served things today. It is my duty, apparently, to also serve the things I create. Here on Earthrealm, you cannot just create shit and expect people to buy it. You must shout it from the rooftops and be like, I made something! Look at me! Look what I made you! And the people will be like, nah, it's okay. On many occasions, I have experienced a vexing side effect, consequence of attempting to indulge in this concept of commerce. These things called bots that scam you and speak to you in ways that are hilarious, to be honest. I was checking Rumble, and in the comments there was a bot And its name, I shit you not, was... What's it when you jumble up the letters? Is it an anagram? Or, I can't remember. Is it an anagram? I'm not sure. The Profire's name was a Satana Mesa or some shit. Paintingu. As I looked at the Profire, not only was I struck by the often regular, now abundant realization that it is indeed a bot. I was like, again, a bot? Fuck bots. But then I looked at the name. And I saw Satan. No mess, like I looked at the profile name, but I was like, isn't that just Satan, like, jumbled up? And I think it was actually like, I'm Satan, jumbled up, like. That was hilarious. Paintingu! It's Paintingu. It's fucking good. Let's get these bitches wetu. Where are my bitches? These are my bitches. My car, my brushes, my bitches. Why? Because it's hilarious. They come in many sizes and they have hair. They may as well be bitches. They have enough in common to be referred to by the same name. Which, when you think about it, is like more than what other words have in common, because of the amount of words in the English language that are used for like different shit, like, do you know what I mean? At least they both have hair. Oh, I find that hilarious. Right. I forgot how retarded my Wally looks. You like barely see him walking along the castle bridge there. Chap just like, he's making a swift exit from the castle as the fucking giant Kaiju raspberry is like annihilating the town in the valley. Wally's just like, I'm out this bitch, and he's just like cane in hand, fucking. Currently, I haven't put his pupils in, so it looks. He kind of looks like a. What's that nigga's name? What's the blind nigga's name? I'm blanking on the blind nigga's name. Fucking the piano playing blind nigga. What's that nigga's name? It's on the tip of my tongue. What's that nigga's name? I'm picturing Eddie Murphy say it in like his stand-up thing. Stevie Wonder. That's the nigga. I was trying not to look at chat in case one of you put it in. Like, they're like looking up at the ceiling. Stevie Wonder. My Wally Colin looks like he looks like Stevie Wally. Stevie Wally here. Wally Stevenson here is like just like exiting the castle. Just like, I'm out this bitch. Like, I like, in fairness, I mean, a lot of people would. I mean, if you ran a castle or if you lived in a castle, we don't know if Wally is King Wally Stevenson. We're not sure yet. Or if he was just, a temporary resident of Lichtenstein, Kassel in Germany. Which is probably more believable. I mean, Wally gets around, doesn't he? You know? I mean, if they ever do a Where's Wally episode, they probably did one in Germany, but it wasn't like, I'm telling you now, it wasn't like this. There was no giant Kaiju raspberries fucking with twin 6-shooters like shooting the shit out of buildings and stuff like. Ha! Right, you know what that means. Begin crapping for Paintingu. If you're not crapping for Paintingu, you have no honor. If you have no honor, you will probably not crap for Paintingu. If you have honor, you will crap for Paintingu. I want to hear you crap for Paintingu from here. I want to hear the crapping. If I'm gonna regularly do the same bits, I'm gonna just have to practice keeping a straight face. It's so hard to stay in character when I genuinely find this shit funny. If you have any honor, you will crap for painting. It's like, the fuck did he just say? I said crap for painting.
Now there's a simple and sustainable way to trade in your smartphone.
Get off my stream. You know the way they have their fucking signs like in an audience, it's like applause or like, you know, start clapping or whatever. They have a sign or some shit like begin crapping. Like he spelt it with an R and all, like. And just some people in the crowd are like, what? Like they don't get the inside joke. And everyone's just clapping like. But there's some people like looking around for a sec being like, hold on a minute. Is this some kind of sick cult? It's like, oh god. Right. Man, there's a mountain of, look at that mountain of yellow. Look at that. Look how far off the parrot. Look how far off the palette that is. I have a for some reason the whatever composition is in the yellow and the blue, they go hard like really quickly compared to some of the other colors. But unlike the blue, the yellow doesn't retain the ability to, like, you can't put water to it and get pigment out of it. But the blue, the Prussian blue, is so powerful that even though it's gone hard, phrasing, I can still squirt on it and it'll give me some color, phrasing. Like, here on PEINTEINGU, squirting is not what you think it is. Squirting is a necessity. Without the squirt, the goo were not fro. Mount Lichtenstein. Onward to Lichtenstein. I love the way Corbear is like cause she's like the only Chinese one, like. It's like, it's replacing all of our R's with L's instead of L's with R's is actually hilarious. Like, it's fried rice, you plick! Back in time to Crapu. Where were you? Were you like, how funny would it be if you were like, sorry, I was in the toilet taking a dump. I made it back just in time for Crapu. Oh god, it's the simple things that make me laugh. It really is. I can't tell where the parrot ends and the goo begins. The parrot and the goo have become one. Like, that's probably like, that's slowly becoming a fucking concept in my mind that I'm like, I keep envisioning when I'm like, I must erode the parrot. I must squirt on the parrot. Like, I keep just like imagining me like kind of like abusing a fucking cartoon parrot. Like, you know, like, I must road this parrot. And then I just picture a road and a fucking parakeet, and the parakeet's like all laid out on the road. I've said this before, but it's still hilarious. Just feathers all over the place, things like laid out like it just got hit by our car or something, like, you know, there's like tire marks all over it. It's just in the middle of a road, like, and then like, I must squirt on the parrot. It's like just a parrot on like one of those, like, you know, stand things where you'd keep an owl or a fucking or like, or even if you just had it on my arm. And I just produce the squirt thing. I just squirt the thing in the face. Like, harmless, obviously, like, do you know what I mean? But if you were the parrot, you'd be like, hey! You know, like... If I could like get a parrot and train it to like when I squirt water in its face, it like just starts fucking verbally abusing the shit out of me. Like try and get it to sound like a fucking ghetto ass nigga. Like, oh, that'd be so funny. Like, because you know the way like parakeets, like even though they do replicate voices, they always sound like you get it to say hello and it'd be like hello. Like, you know, like squirt water on it. It's like, fucking, fuck you, cuz! I'm about to cap in your ass! Nigga, you spray me with that shit again! It's like this high-pitched ghetto parakeet. It's like... I'd have to get a stand for it then. I wouldn't be able to put him on my arm and keep squirting on him, like, because, like, after, like, the third or fourth time, you'd, like, fly away and shit, and I'd have to, like, find ways of, like, convincing him to, like, and just, like, stand there for a sec, like, I don't trust you, nigga! I don't know why that makes me laugh so much. Like, well, probably because it'd be fucking hilarious. But like, oh man, I probably should get into animation. Cause like one of the ducks out of my gun duck idea, like I wanted them to be like voiced by like someone who sounded like really black and ghetto, you know, like one of the characters out of like the Boondocks or some shit. What are they called again? The Boondock Saints. Or is it? I can't remember what it's called. There's like 2 animes that are like really black animes. Well, 3, like I'm sure there's loads of them, but like 3 big ones. There's like Afro Samurai. That's like pretty black anime. Because you have Ninja, and it's like voiced by Sam L. And then you have like, is it the Boondock Saints or something? I can't remember. Or is it just called Boondocks? And then what's the other one? Oh, I'm blanking on the name. Cowboy Bebop. I think like that's a real black anime. Hey Woo, you welcome Woo to PEINTEINGU Woo Rideroo. PEINTEINGU is painting you, painting them, or is he painting Sue? Who the fuck is Sue? Curb stomp the right button. Indeedoo. Curb stomp the right button. Thrice. Deliver a honorable and like disciplined vicious reater strike to the right button. Strike the right button. There's another PEINTEINGU t-shirt to do in the future when we have when we have the numbers to do merch. Unlike now, and I'm like, PEINTEINGU t-shirts are available, and Printer Bear's like, yeah, we got like 7 orders. It's like, this is gonna cost a lot of money. The same thing happened today. I just sent the Irish orders out. Like I sent one to me ma and her fella, and then Bravey Bear and what was the other one? Demolish you. And it cost me like €30 just to send like 3 t-shirts, like in Ireland, you know, like registered post or not. I thought that was quite expensive. I was like, are you serious? And they're mad light and all. It's just t-shirts, like it's not like it's heavy. It's like 30 fucking quid. Jesus Christ. And like I think that's hilarious. Like, you know that thing of like God will provide like exactly what you need. Man, the amount of times that has happened to me in the last like 6 months, like big style, where like I literally have exactly the right amount of resources to do what I need to do, i.e. get more paint or pay for the internet or like get a new camera so I can have the monkey camera or whatever like that. Like I've literally gotten like exactly how much I need. No more, no less, you know. Well, actually a little bit more, because I've been able to like, you know, buy groceries and stuff as well occasionally, like. And and stuff like that. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I've been able to be like, oh, I can pay for that or something, like, a few times. And it, like, it's kind of spooky sometimes. Genuinely, like, you know, like, and like, I totally get, like, after watching Owen for a few years, like, and over the years, he'd say that sometimes where he's like, man, they're like the sinks, and like some things just like, you know, when you're paying attention and like you're in the flow and you're like trying to be, how does Gardner put it, like when you're trying to be like like on the same way, like you're trying to be on that God frequency, you're trying to be on that, like, you know, not necessarily in flow all the time, but like in contact with that signal. You're like tuned into that frequency. And shit just shows up. It's fucking weird. It's like fascinating and like humbling, and like it's one of the things that makes me so grateful and shit. Like, and it's weird the effect that it has on your personality. At least, but like I'm speaking just from experience now. I'm sure there's people out there that don't really change that much, like, you know, or because they don't have to, like, you know. But there's like such a drastic difference, just a drastic contrast between what I used to be like and what I'm like now. In terms of like mental state, you know. General mental state. It's mad. But anyway, let's dance with some demons. I have my rag upon my knee. I must reroad the parrot. A bit. Not completely, but a bit. The whiter is fearing a bit righter. Won't be too wrong. Oh, gross, get it. Bro, I have to get more. Hey, hey! Hey, hey! Whoa. Paint. Paint! Somebody has a paint for painting goo! Glorious! Before I even started painting gooing. Paint! Ulrich von Lichtenstein has a paint for painting goo. Sir Ulrich von Lichtenstein, you bring yourself much honor this day. Hello, good sir. I'll do it in Queen's English. Hello, good sir. While I perished in the great battle of 1333, I appreciate your homage to my childhood castle. Many generations of Lichtensteins rose to glory in those very same castle walls. Your painting goo honors us all greatly. You honor me with your comment, Ulrich von Lichtenstein. It is glorious to be appreciated by a man of such renown and honor. Painting goo. Man, I love permanent red. It's such a beautiful color. Red. The color of blood. I love it. Breeding. That's a hilarious one, actually, that I haven't thought of yet. Like, bleeding becomes breeding. Like Jesse Ventura, or whatever that character's name was, the Predator, where he's like, I ain't got time to bleed my own blood. I have a no timer to breed my own brood. I don't have time to breed my own brood. Like a fucking, like a Jewish alien queen, you know, that's like, I ain't got time for this shit, all the sex and having the babies. I'm gonna get a surrogate. I ain't got time to breed my own brood. Like one of the Xenos out of Alien gets real, like, economically efficient. And it's like, It'd take me decades to shed out all those babies. You any idea how much fucking square mileage you need for all them eggs? And they just sit there for months before that freaky looking hand thing, pussy thing comes out. Fuck that shit. I'm gonna hire a surrogate. I'm gonna build myself an alien farm. Paint. Oh god. Paint. I'm gonna paint an alien from an alien from Alien. You know, the black elk, like, you know. It's so annoying, like, in a general conversation sense, that the fact that the fucking alien out of Alien is just called, like, Alien to most people, whereas, like, it's a Xeno, you know, or whatever. Fucking, the black goo or shit, like, I don't know what they're, like, maybe they're actually called something. Kinda like the Predators are called the... Oh, I can't remember the fucking name. There's an actual name for, like, the race that the Predator is, the race of aliens. It's got J in it or something, like the Jakata or something, I can't fucking remember. Kern, stop your Rogert! Just this chat, just like some of the funniest shit, because like sometimes it's like we're a bunch of kids just like pretending to be Chinese or Japanese, like, you know what I mean? Like, I just read the comments and I'm just like, this is fucking hilarious. Like, it's fly lice, you prick. I love that one. Uncle Benny. Oh fuck. Oh shit. Oh, I discovered that I have some double-sided tape that we picked up ages ago. So that allowed me to strap the paper to the board, like flush, so it's not curling. And I was just like, yeah, like, you know, like simple shit like that. It's like I'm definitely autistic to a certain degree or something, like. But what does autistic even fucking mean, you know? Intelligent, you know. You have standards. You like things to be good. I don't know, like, I seriously think autism's a fucking scam, just like everything else these days. We have a car park here and a shopping center. Do you guys have this? There's a fucking car park here that says this is an autism friendly car park, and it's like, what the fuck does that even mean? It looks the same as every other car park. And then there's like shops that are like, we've an autist friendly shopping center experience. Something to do with the frequency of the lights or some shit, or like the way it's, I don't fucking know. But when I see that shit, I'm like, how fucking off the wall crazy is that? That you have businesses turning around and being like, we're making the whole building and the car park like autism friendly. Like, what the fuck? Like, I just say, that's one of those things where you just look at it and you're like, no wonder they call it clown world. Like, do you know what I mean? It's like, what the fuck does that even mean? Like, like, it's crazy to me. It's just fucking crazy to me. Painting, goo. Oh, do you know what I'm gonna do, actually? I'm gonna scrape off the mountain of blue and the mountain of yellow before I put more goo down. I don't have anything, like, right beside me, do I? No. I'm not arsed getting up. I'm comfortable right now. My ass hasn't gone numb yet. So I'm not arsed moving. There has to be something here I can use. Painting. Good. Come on, give me something. Need something hard and flat. Oh, Jesus. I couldn't think of a funny innuendo for hard and flat. I was trying to think of one there. Like a guy who takes Viagra and then gets like hit by a frying pan or something. I don't fucking know. It's hard and flat. And it's like I literally couldn't think of anything like kind of cheeky funny to say. Like, see, I'm not a comedian. I'm just a mad cunt. Yeah, that's what I was thinking. I can literally just break it off in your fingers. It's like it's cool. It's like it turns into chalk or a crayon. Which makes sense, you know what I mean? Because that's why the pigment is so intense. I've often wondered, like, would you be able to reuse this stuff? Like if I got, like, white spirits or some kind of solution, some kind of liquid solution, could you, like, essentially, like, because look at that. It's just like a chunk of plastic, or, like, it's literally like, it's not like acrylic. Like, acrylic turns into plastic. You can feel it. You know, it's still kind of pliable, and like it's like, you know, it's still kind of gooey, but it's like plastically or whatever. It does eventually go like hard. Phrasing. Goes hard eventually. But this stuff is like, it's a crayon. It's cool. Like there's a part of me that would love to just like, now there's actually certain paints that are what like I'm about to describe, but I'd love to get like, I'd love to have enough money, because this shit's like quite expensive, but I'd love to have enough money to get so much of this stuff that I could let it harden into like a block and then carve it. I think that'd be really cool, because it's like, it's quite, it's almost like something you could carve. It's like clay or crayon or something. Like it's like tough, but like easily breakable and stuff. Like it's fascinating, like how this shit like is, you know, like, well, it's in the tube and all. It's like lovely and buttery and gooey, and it's like so highly pigmented, and the colors are fucking beautiful and really vibrant and stuff. And then when it hardens, like it fucking hardens. It's awesome looking. I would love to eventually get back into carpentry, because I'm like that when I'm working with wood as well. Phrasing. I love the smell of paint, which is true. I do love the smell of paint, especially burnt sienna. It's glorious. But I fucking love the smell of like sawdust and like freshly cut wood and stuff. It's like freshly cut grass, like, do you know what I mean? It's like the smell of hard work, do you know what I mean? Can be really nice, like, you know, because like mowing the lawn or fucking like, you know, like making a table, like, you know, it's like hard work, like it's like labor and shit, like, you know. And then the smells you get as a result of that, like the smell of sawdust, the smell of cut wood, the smell of freshly cut grass, the smell of paint before it dries. I'd say you could actually use that as a crayon. Like, I might test that one time, get a chunk of it, and try and like get a piece of paper and just like draw with it or something. Dick Fordu, welcome to PEINTEINGU. How are you? Okay. Forgive me for the delay. I was pulling paint. I was degooing the parrot. It's like, yeah. What's that mean? Painting goo goo goo. I was degooing the parrot. Painting goo 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 goo. Painting goo goo goo. Oh shit! squirted my brew all over the place. How dare I? That Prussian blue has lasted me so long because you need to use like fuck all of it. It's so strong. It's so like rich and like such a powerful pigment in that. Like, sounds like your kind of shopping center. Fuck you, homie. So, what are you complaining about? Sounds like it's built exactly for you. Like, it's funny because like anytime I go into these places that are apparently like built for to be like autism friendly or some shit like that, they actually make me feel uncomfortable because I start noticing certain things where I'm like, yeah, they do have loads of those white lights everywhere, and like some of the way the aisles like it kind of feels like they try to make the place like more colorful in a sense. Sometimes like some aisles are like set up differently to the way I used to see aisles set up and shit, and I'm just like, what the fuck, that's weird. Like I look at it and I'm all like, it's all just like a weird social programming thing, like, do you know what I mean? Like, it's mad. Like, even the way like think of it like when you got, it's not a conspiracy theory or anything, like, but like just it's fascinating to think that like they do actually design shops a certain way because they know how people behave, you know, like the whole concept of what are those, what's that term, impulse buy. So you have a lot of items that are like right beside the till, and they're the type of things that when you see it you're like, oh yeah, I'll grab one of them, like a Kit Kat or like some chewing gum or fucking like something that's on sale or a special or a bottle of can of Red Bull or something. Like, you see certain things in certain places, like, do you know what I mean? And it's like all set up and designed around and derived from the data they pick up from observing your behavior, you know? It's fascinating. Paint! You're always being watched, whether by other people, the government, or God. So be good, be true, and be beautiful. You filthy monkeys. Paint. I might like. It'd be cool if like I think it'd be funny, but it'd also be cool if like when I like if I get memberships going or something, which I should do. I should get memberships going for you guys, cause like then you don't have to like fucking feel obligated to like give me money on the regular, cause you will be giving me money on the regular, like, do you know, that kind of thing. Like a few of you have said that where it's like, oh man, like just set up a thing so I can give you £5 a month or something, like, you know. I should do that. Like, I just keep getting distracted by other shit, like for instance, the fucking commission I got there the other day like is on my mind because I'm like, this is hilarious. Which really, like, I'm really grateful for the position I'm in. I may not be making a lot of money right now, but like I'm having a lot of fun, and like I feel like people genuinely really appreciate and love what I do, and that makes me feel awesome. But like I'm exhausted, like, you know. But I think that's how I think that's the payoff, like, you know. I look at other people who I admire, and they're like, their work ethic is like insane, and I'm just like, oh man, I really have to up my game. Like, I'm so tired all the time, like. But I think I made a wise decision of like trying to focus on my health and my physical health and shit. Because when I work out, I do feel like I have the extra pep to do stuff, you know. Like when I worked out yesterday after the stream, and I was like, oh yeah, felt great. Felt like I got a decent sleep. Woke up early, you know. It's so important. It's so important to have a decent mind-body connection and to feel like you have a strong body, you know, especially for men. But it's it's no different for women, you know. I have a lot of these women who are like overweight and they're not fit, and they join stupid little things like fucking, you know, what's an example? There's a thing called curves here where it's like, it's just for women, and we do like, it's like, no, like women for the most part should be doing similar stuff, you know. Maybe not strength training or something, like, but like football's great for women, you know. Like run around, kick a ball, you know. Dancing's great for women. Like we're built different. You should do different shit, you know. That's why I love seeing like all the different types of cultural dance.
Or you see like all the like Irish dancing. But like Irish dancing's mad. When you see a male do it, you're like, that's fucking queer and gay. But when you see a female do it, Irish dancing is like graceful and like well coordinated and like takes genuine skill and stamina and stuff, like, you know. And there's other cultures that have similar dances. Now you see a bunch of men doing the Maori haka or whatever it's called, and they're like ooh la la, you know, before they play the rugby and all. Like, that's awesome, but that also takes like, you know, a modern, like, if you can't do that, then there's no way you're playing sports, like, you know, because like they're squatted down most of the time they're doing that dance and stuff, like, and it takes like a few minutes to do the whole thing. Dancing, you know, a lot of gravy in dancing. A lot of gravy in dancing. Painting. Goo. Only part of it, rest has standing water in it. What's that about? What did I say? Only part of it, rest has standing water in it? What was I talking about? I can't remember. What brand of paints do you utilize? What brand of paints do you utilize? Turner Acryl Gouache. This stuff is quite expensive. So anyone who fucking buys me this shit or sends me this shit, I will be eternally grateful, because this stuff is very expensive. Like pound for pound, I'm talking. Alternatively, I think the cheaper option is this stuff. This is French. Pebeo Mat Pub. This specific type of this brand, because there's another, this stuff. I was talking about this yesterday, where there's different types of acrylics. So this Pebeo Studio acrylics, this is pretty good because it says opaque on it, but that's still kind of a plastic acrylic, right? This stuff, it's acrylic gouache, right? By a Japanese, it's a fucking Jap brand called Turner Acryl Gouache. Is this pretty much the same as this stuff, the Pebeo Matte Pub, because this stuff dries to a matte finish, right? And it's opaque and whatever, like. But this stuff is actually fairly similar, just more opaque and more pigmented, to like your standard acrylic. And your the difference is like the main difference is your standard acrylic is going to produce texture, and it's going to dry in such a way that, like, if you do layer and layer and layer and layer, like, that's a lot of paint. It has mass to it, you know. Whereas the acryl gouache dries to a matte finish and is more chalky, and it's genuinely like flat. It's almost like you're dyeing the paper or canvas or whatever, more than applying a medium to it. Like, you're still obviously applying a medium to it, but the result is more like you've literally just like applied highly saturated matte color to something, you know. And like that's why I love those paints so much, because it's essentially a highly saturated opaque watercolor, which is pretty much like the best of both worlds for me, because of how I like working. Because that's actually something I struggled with in the beginning of my painting journey. Was I was using basic, just basic like Winsor, like, and good quality stuff, you know, but basic, you know, just as run-of-the-mill standard acrylics, and then like some studio acrylics by like Winsor Newton Galleria. Good quality shit, like, you know. And you can get a similar result if you like use paint mediums, like water it down, use a medium flow assist. There's all sorts of these, like, it's kind of like when Microsoft came out with the Xbox 360, and then there's like all of these fucking bits that you could like buy a bigger hard drive, buy a fucking buy buy a fan extension for the for the back of your Xbox so it doesn't overheat and all this fucking shit. It's like there's all of these things that you can buy that I'm sure they work, you know, and stuff like that. Like, but it's all the same. It's like if you're gonna turn kind of not shitty, but like if you're gonna turn basic normal paints into the kind of paint that you want using all this extra stuff, well then why not just like find the paint you want and buy that, you know? Now admittedly, a lot of the time it can end up being exponentially more expensive. That's why, you know, there is a argument for mixing your own paints as an independent artist because it's so fucking expensive, and I've done that, you know, and it's totally doable and all. But there's like, I've yet to find a way anyway where I could, like, I'd probably have to get powdered pigment, or like get the watercolor pigment solid cube things, and then shave it off into a dust, into a powder, and then mix it with some kind of fluid medium, and then I'd be able to like make the kind of paint that I really like using, that's similar to the acrylic gouache stuff. Like, but yeah, these guys aren't the only ones that do an acrylic gouache. Winsor Newton acrylic gouache is actually pretty much the same shit, like, you know. I've noticed a few differences depending on the color, that some are more oily and some are more like buttery, but it's still really it's still really nice, really high quality shit. Like, I've never gotten a Winsor Newton gouache in 100 mil. These are 100 mils. I'm sure you can get them, I don't know though. But I'm telling you now, it'd probably be just as expensive, if not even more expensive than the Turner Acro Gouache. But I actually have some of that there. Some of the burnt sienna I have is Winsor Newton. Do you burn your own sienna, Defenderoo, or do you buy it? I wish I fucking knew how to like genuinely make, you know, like from scratch. I was watching stuff on TikTok where like you see this like Chinese fella make red, yellow, and blue paint from scratch, and it's glorious. It's glorious to witness. I like doing stuff by hand, analog, to such a degree that I don't like using compasses to get perfect circles. That's how like anal and autistic I am about this stuff. It's like I want to get so good just with my body, you know. Obviously I'm still using tools, but like I want my hand-eye coordination and my mind-body connection and my imagination and my mind's eye to just be like master level, you know. And I'm getting there. I can feel it, you know. I can notice it, that I will eventually get there. Like, don't know how long it's gonna take me, like. But then again, it's like one of those things where it's like, do you ever actually get to a point where it's like, right, you know, you're a master now, there's no more, do you know? I don't think so. Like, I think it's one of those things where like you could always improve, even if it's like a tiny margin or something like that. Right, I have completely roaded the parrot now. We have some shit to go. Yeah, because I want to turn this fortress into like a fucking... Put some guns on the... put some cannons on the... Aren't these called turrets? Aren't the cylindrical formations on fucking castles called turrets? Or is that the like roof section? I'm not sure. Because I thought it was funny there where I was about to say I'm going to put some turrets on the turrets. Because another, like, you know, the word turret is also used for gun emplacements that are... It's generally a defensive thing, you know. But that doesn't mean you couldn't stick a turret on a robot and fucking use it offensively. Haka is one of the most masculine dances. Like... It's one of the few masculine ways to dance. Like, I think martial arts is dancing for men. I think fighting is dancing for men. And I think dancing is a female's expression of the male, desire to fight. The male desire for combat and, like, the use of one's body to express oneself in that manner. I think when you translate that into female energy, you get dancing. But that, like, think about it. It's like, you want to dance, Sonny Jim? You know, men dancing is fighting, and female fighting is dancing, kind of. Do you know what I mean? Because, like, I don't think females are supposed to fight. I know they can. You know, there's like shield maidens and stuff like that and all. Like, you also have like female assassins and shit. Like, and those, they're real, they're a thing. But typically they're like, they use poison or, like, you know, just some female snipers or whatever. It's very rare that you get a female assassin who's like able to like break into a room and John Wick a load of dudes. Like, I genuinely don't think that exists. Do you know what I mean? Like, you know, even at the highest level of like Black Ops or whatever, wet work, like, I don't think you have a female who's like capable of busting up into a room with some flashbangs or something, and like maybe with the right weaponry and the element of surprise. But like, we all know that like a really highly trained female warrior is never going to be as effective as a really highly well trained male warrior. That's just how it works. It's just like a man can train to be a mother all he wants. Pete! But he will never be as much or as good as a mother as a woman can be, as an actual mother can be. You know? You can read all the books, you know, and fucking have all the kids you want and like try and be their ma. But like, it's not gonna work, like, do you know what I mean? Like, it might work. You might be really like good at like being emotionally compassionate and empathetic and all of these fucking. You're just gonna end up looking like a bitch, you know. Your children will hate you. And no, I'm not saying that I think fathers shouldn't be like, you know, emotionally intelligent with their children or whatever. Like, but you know where. If you're not a complete retard, you know where I'm coming from. While I agree on the differences, a woman who's interested in joining hunting and fishing, etc., is definitely attractive. That said, obviously a separation is still needed. Yeah, like, dude, Lagatha out of fucking Viking, like the concept of like fucking like women who do like some women who do like female gymnasts and stuff, like, and that's like intense shit, like, do you know, females who like do arguably male stuff. I wouldn't call it male stuff. I'd call it like high octane, dangerous, you know, physically demanding. I'd use descriptive terms like that. Like, do you know what I mean? They could like, some of them are mad hot. Some of them are gorgeous. Like, what's that bitch's name? It was in what's that bitch's name? She was in the UFC for a while. But she was alright. She wasn't great, like, you know. It's not Kat Zingano. No, it's not Kat Zingano. What's that bitch's name? Is it Kat Zingano? No, Gina Carano. Gina Carano. That's the one. I think fucking Shapiro even endorsed her at one stage because she was like, you know, speaking out against some shit. Very attractive female, and she did like an action movie, and from what I heard, it was like okay. Do you know what I mean? Like, it wasn't like totally trash. But yeah, it's when they start saying that like fucking there's no difference and men can do what women can do, women can do what men can do, like, and then you see these like psychopaths trying to like stuff in the newspapers where it's like the world's first female to, or no, what was it? Yeah, it was like, the way they framed it was a man has had a baby for the first time in human history, and it's like, that's not what happened. A female injected herself with a shit ton of poison and chemicals, cut her tits off, probably. I mean, I think the thing tried to breastfeed or something like. But it's like, it's disgusting. Like, do you know what I mean? And they're like, look at how brave and beautiful and like progressive this is, and it's fucking horrifying. It's literally like something out of like a gore porn horror flick. Do you know what I mean? And they're going on like it's a good thing. It's fucking utterly, like, it's vomit inducing. Do you know, it's the type of thing that like makes me want to fucking get sick. Like, it's crazy. Like, and they're passing it off as like, oh, look how great this is. Could you imagine being that child? Imagine how much that fuck with your head when you grew up. Like, you know what I mean? Like, Jesus Christ, there can't be a lot of people like me who were born of something like that. You know? You meant the shame and like just weirdness and stuff. Like, ugh, Christ. But I see no issues with a woman joining her man in his hobbies or duties. Yeah, neither do I. I mean, look, fucking the female me making monkeys there the other day and stuff like that. Like, you know, gone on hikes together, played video games together. And I think she would genuinely enjoy training martial arts if I had the, like, if I could get my hands on some pads and some mitts and shit, like, you know, and teach her how to throw strikes. I think she'd enjoy that and it'd keep her fit and stuff like. And a lot of people meet their true love, like, you know, doing stuff like that. Like, you know, oh, I met my wife rock climbing or kayaking or fucking, like, all sorts of stuff. Like, there's couples in MMA. Do you know what I mean? There's MMA couples, like. And that makes total sense to me, like. If you're, like, a fighter and you're a dude and you like fighting and all, like, and you see all these, like, really hot fucking females walking around with great arses, like, great bodies. And they're very confident because they can throw down, you know. Like, it makes total sense. Like, if anything, like, I think like that's what culture used to be like. Do you know what I mean? The whole kind of warrior culture thing, like more pagan-esque or whatever, like, or even like Roman imperialism or some shit, where like you had the whole like look at Sparta, like Spartan women allegedly, whatever, like, you know, as far as we've heard, Spartan women were like very capable, you know. They were like shield maidens or like fucking even if they were just a seamstress or whatever like that, like every female was capable of wielding a sword and shield and a spear, you know. Japanese, same thing, you know. They had weapons specifically designed for females. They accounted for how females fight and what they're capable of, you know. They made things like naginatas, which is like a small enough like blade, you know, kind of like something slightly larger. It's like smaller than a katana, but bigger than a tanto. The tanto being like the fucking katana, the dagger version of a katana. And it's like a, you know, like a like the Asian version of a gladius or something, like stuck on the end of a fucking like 6-foot pole, you know. There's lots of weapons that are like, look at the isn't the Derringer? Wasn't the Derringer pistol specifically designed for women to keep in their purse? Like, when you look at times in history where we have embraced the differences between cultures and between men and women and adults and children, like when you separate it all into where it should be, it's fucking beautiful and like awesome shit happens. But when you throw all the toys in the same box and then tell everyone that they just have to get along whether they like it or not, like, do you know what I mean? It's like, there's a song there's a line of lyrics that I really like in a song I love called Ultimate by a guy called Denzel Curry? Yeah, Ultimate by Denzel Curry. I really like some of his tunes. Danny Brown too and all that. There's one bit that he has in the song Ultimate where he says, separate everyone, make sure they're neighbors. And I remember hearing that and I was just like, that's a great way to put it. Separate everyone but make sure they're neighbors, you know. And like, I think as far as I remember, Owen has pointed shit like that out before where it's like they specifically Like they know, just like the way they build a shopping mall or a supermarket or grocery store or whatever. They know how people behave, so they build it in a certain way to glean certain benefits, right? And they do the same thing on a societal programming level, where they're like, oh, like, we'll make sure that the Asians and the blacks are like in real close proximity together, because like they know that, sure, the higher intellect people and the who have a greater impulse control are going to become a hybrid culture. That's where you get stuff like Afro Samurai, where you have Japanese anime mixed with ghetto black culture, right? Which is really cool. It's like one of the coolest things ever. And like, it's like when what's another example? Like Irish culture has been mixed with a lot of other countries and stuff like that. Like, when it's done right and in a genuine way, it's beautiful. But when it's forced and done in a manipulative and underhanded way for profit, or not just for profit, for malevolent purposes, it's fucking, you get shit like the Rooftop Koreans. Do you know what I mean? Where it's like, they know how cultures can clash, but cultures can also live in harmony. So that's what, like, I completely agree with Owen, where it's like the biggest conspiracy theory is that everything's gonna be okay, because like pretty much all this stuff that we see in modern day in terms of this negative satanic mindset or whatever, it's all lies, it's all manipulation, it's all gaslighting, it's all bullshit. And the difficulty at our level now, where like our level of awareness now, like where most people in the bear community or whatever, or people who watch me or hang out with me or talk to me regularly, the difficulty I face on the daily is just maintaining that gratitude and level of awareness of like how this realm works and why. Paint! It's just stressful because the level of influence and stimulation from Babylon, even in a small enough town where I live, is still very prevalent and very, like, you know, potent, you know. So it's just a daily grind, you know. But that's a good thing, you know. It's a daily grind to be like, you know, okay, why am I angry? Why am I stressed? Why am I feeling these negative things and all? You know, I have a good life. I have a beautiful female. People appreciate my art and like my art. Like, do you know what I mean? It's like, that's what we do now. As far, like, I can imagine you guys do the same. It's like, I have a good job. I have a good woman. I have beautiful children. You know, like, we have what we need. Like, you just start listing all the things that are like, yeah, I should be in a good mood and I should feel good and like positive because my life is like this, you know. It's only when you start being influenced and thinking of all the stuff that is like thrown at you through the screens on like billboards and fucking shops, newspaper, it's everywhere. It's on the food. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's on packages. It's like, it's everywhere. It's like fucking, it's like, you know, when you see what augmented reality is going to look like, and they like, there's just ads everywhere. Just fucking like, if you ever see those dystopian hells like Judge Dredd or Blade Runner, where there's just fucking neon lights everywhere because there's a shop everywhere, there's a service everywhere, it's constantly raining and it's constantly nighttime and it's just like wet and stuffy and dirty and like you can't breathe, it's like oppressive, and all the most common services are like shitty street food, fucking sex slavery, and drugs, you know, and then entertainment or whatever, like, you know. And it's like, it's always the same shit. Like, they know what works. They know how to govern the mind, to be the government. They're very good at it, you know? Like, you gotta give credit where credit is due. Like, they for the most part, they run a pretty efficient farm, you know? Like, but it's a horrifying farm when you look at the details, like. Turrets is correct, I think. Yeah, I'm pretty sure I'm right, but I could be wrong, like. Do you guys have any round towers where you guys are? Where it's like this part of the castle. But one of these on top. We've a load of them here in Ireland. There's like a really famous one in Clondalkin in Dublin, where it's like pretty much intact, and like they're deadly looking. Like, and allegedly they were used when the missionaries came over here or stuff like that. Or was it the missionaries? No, when Roman Catholicism was here, I think, and the monks, the Roman Catholic monks in Ireland, would use the round towers to defend from the Saxon and Viking invasions or some shit, like. That's what we learnt in school anyway. Like, I'd love to, like, part of me would love to, like, fucking, like, kind of do what what's that nigga's name from Old World Florida? Dr. Longo. Dr. Rungo. Part of me would love to go around Ireland and just look at all these like old things and do videos and try and just like get a load of people in the chat and be like, does anybody know what this is? And like, and obviously do my own research, but like, I'm very similar to Owen in that sense, where it's like, I don't like reading. I'll read, you know. I've like recently read the Dylan Sicoccio fucking Spirit World series and enjoyed it. But I much prefer like shit just like happening and being fed into my ears while I'm doing something. Much prefer that. Paint. But neither should just want to cling along to everything all the time. Oh, excuse me. But neither should just want to cling along to everything all the... Oh, you mean in the sense like they do everything together? Like they never do anything separately? Yeah, like I don't think that's a good relationship if you literally do fucking everything together. You know, like you're like you are one, you know, you're one being, like, you know. Like when you're like, every time you're talking, you're like, oh well, we don't do that, you know. It's kind of like, this is fucking we, like, you know. We are Legion. Like, it gives off a weird vibe, like you can tell that like me and Wishy are like totally different people. Do you know what I mean? Like after like, you can hang out with us for like 5 minutes and you can tell that I'm the fun one. I'm only messing. But like you could tell that like she's the kind of like shy, like bit of anxiety or whatever like that, like, you know, she's much softer, but like that's why it generally is supposed to be, like, do you know what I mean? Well, I wouldn't argue that. I'd say like typically someone as like over the top masculine and like crazy as me most of the time, you know, because I thought that was funny actually the other day when I was streaming on the phone. And it was a stabber that turned around and he was like, your energy's totally different, you're like so chill right now. Yeah, like, that's how I relate to Owen when he's like, you know, if he does like an evening stream or some shit, like he's always just like, hi guys, you know. it's a totally different energy, like, you know, because during the day, like from the moment I wake up, I'm like, yeah, you know, like most of the time anyway, still get those days where you're like, oh, don't want to get out of bed. But you do it anyway. But then yeah, in the evening I'm pure like I just turn into a fucking gelatinous mass. I just like, like paint. Smashing bugs to make your own paint colors is like prison tattoo extreme. That's like, it's fucking legit cool though. Like them crabs that have like fluorescent blue blood. Like a lot of it's minerals and stuff, like, you know, or flowers and shit. Like what I was watching one where he like had to crush down a lot of, was it lapis lazulite, which is like this beautifully blue colored mineral rock thing, you know. This shit is really cool. Like, I'd love to live on enough land to, you know, have food growing and like a few animals, not a lot, just a few, and do stuff like that. Like, that is kind of my long-term plan. I've spoken about this before, where like I want land, and then I want my house, but on the land I want like a big warehouse or a barn or like a longhouse, you know, Viking style, with just like all of these amenities for people to come and just hang out and learn things and do stuff and make things and improve themselves, you know. Gym, library, art equipment, carpentry, like as many things as I can fit into the one building, you know. Everything from like masonry to carpentry to like, I basically want to make a school, you know, like, which is fucking hilarious considering I hated school. Saw some girl fights in high school, rough and dirty. Yeah, they always just immediately go for each other's. If females don't know how to fight, they just immediately go for the hair, and it's fucking brutal, man. And they claw at each other like cats. It's horrible. Like when you sit, like lads will watch two young ones throw down for a minute. It's never long before they're like, okay, all right, let her go, because they'll mess each other up. Like, obviously I know like dudes will mess each other, but like most dudes, when one of them gets slept, or if one of them is like, you know, just not fighting back anymore, most dudes would be like, alright, that's it, you know. It's rare for a guy to like, no, I'm gonna kill him. You know, like generally somebody has to do some shit for them to want to kill them, like, you know. Gina Carano was in Deadpool 2. Yeah, she was like Angel or something, wasn't she? Isn't that her character's name? Her character's name is Angel. She did like, there's that bit where he's like, oh, she's gonna do the superhero fall, the cool superhero fall thing, and she like steps off the bridge and lands, and there's like a big shockwave. Like, yeah, like she's hot as fuck, like, you know. And she's like an MMA bitch, like, you know. It's just like, I think that's funny how like Owen has a good word for it, like that purity spiraling shit. Like, where I think it's funny where like people are like, oh, so if this is bad, then all these things are bad, and then you can't do this. It's like, that's not how life works. Life is far more sophisticated and complicated than that. But like, that's why it's good to try and make things simple. Like a great example I try and think of, or not that I try and think of it, I'm always reminded of the character that Jamie Foxx plays in Horrible Bosses. I can't remember if it was the first one or the second one, but the movie Horrible Bosses, and Jamie Foxx's character is like this tattooed criminal. Like, he's like this really dangerous dude. And he pulls up in a car, and they're like, he's like, I've only got 5 minutes, I gotta get back to my kittens. And they're like, kittens? You know, and he's got like cat stuff, you know, the stuff that cats climb on and stuff. He's got it in the back of the car, something like. He's like, yeah, it's for my kitties, it's for my kittens. And they're like, aren't you like a hardened criminal and all? And he's like, what, so a nigga can't have kittens? You know, like, and I broke my shite laughing, because I was like, that's so true. Like, it's like, well, so you think, like, think about it, like, just because someone is like a member of the cartel or the Yakuza, like, obviously typically dudes like that are like hardcore to fuck, so they're not gonna be like, you know, having tea parties with their daughters or something, like, do you know what I mean, or like playing, like, do you know, they're not gonna be doing typically very feminine stuff. But like, it's totally like, that's like a known character archetype thing to do, where like you have a bad guy. And they're always really good characters when you do stuff like that. It's like you have a bad guy who's like initially very intimidating, very intelligent, almost like psychopathically violent, and then you see him like feeding turtles. You know, like, and he's like, who's a beautiful little turtle? Like, you see him doing something like that, But the way you get introduced to him, or 5 minutes prior to doing that, he was like pulling somebody's toes off with a pliers really calmly, like, do you know what I mean? like Gus Fring, Gustavo Fring in Breaking Bad, right, is one of the coolest bad guys ever, because you see him do some of the coldest, fucking most like straight up, nerves of steel, cold, apathetic shit ever. Like one of his own workers, he just like slits his throat in front of Jamie and Walt. It is Jamie, isn't it? I can't remember. Jesse and Walt. He just slits your man's throat in front of them, like, and they're like, oh my god, like. But there's a bit in one of the episodes where he makes dinner for someone, and he's like, this is a Chilean dish, and he's like really relatable and like an amazing cook and like really likes good food and shit, like, you know, it's like that's how you, like, that's a believable human being. Do you know what I mean? Like, the ones that aren't necessarily believable are the ones who are just like doing lots of bad shit just to do bad shit, just because they like doing bad shit, just because they're psychos. Do you mean that's kind of like, if anything, that's an example of someone who's just like actually mentally broken and they're like crazy, you know, which can be interesting, you know, but it's not as like, because it's not relatable to your average person, because your average person isn't fucking psychopathic or crazy, it's not as interesting, you know. Like the characters that are like more relatable and interesting, despite how fucking off the wall they can be, like, they make far better stories. And I don't know how I got off on that tangent, but alas, we move on. I took the winner to prom. Nice. You see two bitches throw down, and like one of them comes back with like a tuft of the other bitch's hair, and you're like, yeah, that's my woman. Like, that's my queen right there. A bitch can handle herself. Like, Pete. No reason a woman can't be a phenomenal mother and still enjoy masculine activities as time allows. Yeah, like, both sexes need separate times to be sure, but also both enjoy a mutual time. Yeah, like, that's what, like, that's kind of what I was saying with, like, just because you say something doesn't mean that like all the other variables are like like don't throw the baby out the bathwater, like, kind of thing, like, you know. It's like people are so quick to criticize and judge and like make assumptions and then like get emotionally invested and make emotional remarks, you know, which is like, it's just, it is what it is. It's unfortunate. It's like, it's unfortunate, but it's also hilarious, because like Clown World is hilarious, you know. It's exceedingly dark lately, but it is hilarious. Yup, for protection, mainly marketed to ladies of the night in the Old West. Yeah, the Derringer, yeah. Mainly marketed to ladies of the night, in quotes, in the Old West towns, and the saloon ladies, yeah. Cause like, yeah, you do, you get men who behave like animals. They can't control their impulses, or like, sometimes, you know, a lot of the time it's not even control of impulses, it's he's just an asshole, you know, and he knows what he's capable of physically, and he knows that she can't. It's like, well, if I want to fuck you, there's nothing you can do about it, like, do you know what I mean? It's like, well, fuck around and find out, nigga, you know. And then like you hear two small pop-pops and the dude comes out holding his gun, you know. Oh, bitch shot me. Like, it's like, yeah, well, you fucking deserved it, nigga. Like, it's like, she told you what the price was, you know. Don't fuck around, like. Play by the rules of the game. Like, read the room. Wherever you are in life, whatever country you live in, whatever culture you're a part of, read the room, figure out the rules, the parameters of like how everybody works, why certain people do things, what the government is like, what the local authority is, you know, because that's essentially how all this works. Is everybody has a local authority. That was my name on the game Clash of Clans. if you've ever played Clash of Clans on the phone or the tablet, it's a great little game. But it's one of those gotcha things, you know. It's free to play, but like there's like monetized to microtransactions and monetized like heavily, like fucking insane money when you're paying to play that game. Like my name on that was local authority. I love shit like that. Like, you have been invaded by the local authority. I just thought it was brilliant, like, you know. Cause that's what I would like if I was a king. That's what I'd be, you know. Who are you? Well, I'm the local authority. You know, like local in this vicinity. I'm in charge. You know, like the train guy of Matrix Reloaded. You know, you may be whoever, but down here, I'm God. You know, I love that. Like, you know, yeah, I get it. You're the one. Sure, cool. All right, but you're here now, and this is my domain. You know, like, I love that shit. That makes so much sense in nature. Do you know what I mean? I think that applies in heaven and hell. Do you know what I mean? Think about it. When you see like any depiction of Hades and Zeus talking, you know, Zeus is always like, typically, narratively, if they get it right, Zeus gives Hades his credit, like where his credit is due. You know, it's like, no, he rules the underworld. That's his domain. We do not tread, we do not trespass, and we do not fuck around with like. And I'd say, you know, the Abrahamic God is the same thing. He's like, look, fucking Lucifer runs hell. You know, that's the deal. You know what I mean? So it's like you end up in hell, you got to deal with Lucifer. Like, I mean, can you pray your way out of hell? Can you still like? I don't know. Like, I'm not Christian and I haven't studied the Bible and stuff. So like, is that a thing in Christianity where like, if your soul ends up in hell, can you still like hear God and communicate with God? Or is it a case of like, now that you're in hell, the only higher power that you can commune with is Satan or Lucifer, the devil himself? And like, is damnation permanent? Can you redeem your soul from hell? Can you rise from hell? Like, I don't know. Like, I mean, on a level, I think it's all just like a metaphor for alchemy.
Tired of spending money on disposable.
I tell you what I'm tired of. I'm tired of you 30 monkey mortars spreading your rise and commercial crap on PEINTEINGU. PEINTEINGU. Right, time for some raving goo. I'm ranting goo, and we will start raving goo, and I will do some painting goo.
I was browsing the Manscaped website.
Oh, were you? Were you browsing? You fag. Voice sounds feminine, and it offends me. Man with an effeminate voice offends me. Afro-Irish. Irish-African. Irish-ish. I've laid my hopes of meeting a lady on running into her shopping for hunting fishing stuff, or out on the riverbank or in the woods hunting for fish. Do you know, you'd probably be one of them guys to meet a really nice woman at like a fucking square dancing night or line dancing or something. Do you know what I mean? Like, you'd probably meet your perfect woman at a place where the people who go fishing and the people who locally go hunting, where do they hang out collectively? They probably go to like a really wholesome bar or like farmers market, and they do like group events like fucking group dancing or line dancing or something, like, and then like, you know, like that's just like hookup culture now is a perverted version of actual courting. Like, I think female and male like courting traditions, like animals have mating parameters. They have mating calls and mating like rules, and there's birds that make nests specifically
to attract a mate. Like, do you know what I mean? So it's like, if animals do it, then of course we are supposed to do that stuff, but it's supposed to be done in a good, true, and beautiful way, like, you know. And group dancing, the Irish people do that. It's called a céilí, you know. We all like way, you know, like, you know, there's fucking music and shit and all. It's great. It's really good fun when you get into it. If you stop being a fucking anxiety-ridden fucking, you know, mess who's like, oh, I don't want to dance or whatever, like, you know, it's like, because there is a lot of that, you know, especially amongst young males, you know, oh, no fucking dancing. I was like that for a period of time when I was younger, when I was like in my metal phase. I was like, I'm not fucking dancing, fuck this shit, like, I just want to stand in the corner wearing a black shirt and look, you know, dark and broody. It's great, like, keeps you fucking healthy, you know, fucking, it's great for your lymphatic system. It's one of those things culturally where, like, males can show off their physical prowess. When you look at the Russians, the Cossack dance, do you know how fucking fit you have to be to, like, go that low, like, and do a proper Cossack dance for, like, any amount of time? Like, it's fucking physically demanding, like, do you know what I mean? Look at breakdancing. The way those guys, like, they may as well be ninjas, you know what I mean? Like, and like, something Chris Gardner recently said that I completely agree with. You want to attract a female? Do work in the vicinity of a female. Like, a female will look at a man performing something and go, ooh, he's really good at that. I want to fuck him because the children he gives me will be really good at something. Do you know what I mean? It's like, it's not a bad thing that, like, our fundamental primal wants and desires exist. It's how we express them, you know? It's not a bad thing that when you see, like, a female, you're like, oh god, I wanna fucking you know, like, and it's not a bad thing when a female sees a guy and she's like, oh god, like, ooh, like, that's a good thing. That's supposed to happen. That's how we work, like. But it's when we have these fucked up, ideologically, you know, run and these societal norms that have come about in recent decades or hundreds of years or whatever, where, like, all this shit is just, like, perverted and messed up to the point where, like, people now feel better off on their own looking at a screen, you know. It's like, oh well, I have friends online, do you know what I mean? Like, it's sad, like, you know, we're not bees. We're actually quite similar to monkeys. I'd say that's why they're like, oh, we came from monkeys. Because when you look at monkeys interact, monkeys bathe. Monkeys, like, they bathe together. They clean each other. They have fights. They have hierarchies. They use tools. The fucking the way they take care of their young. Their young is, like, fairly similar to ours in the fact that, like, they have a long gestation period, and then the child is still quite vulnerable for, like, a year or two because they're, like, so small and shit, like, you know. Very similar to us in lots of ways. So it's not surprising that they were like, monkeys, we came from monkeys. You know, tell them that, they'll believe that. Tell them we came from monkeys, they'll believe that. We'll get at least 70 years out of that one. Like, 2 Acre wants a Yeti woman. Like, 2 Acre wants to be, like, you know, fucking, like fucking hunting deer one day, and, like, this just snoo bitch comes out of it. You hunter, give me baby. You know, like, 2 Acre's just like, yes ma'am. Like, you killer of furry creature, come give me baby. It's like, yes ma'am. Yes my love. Like, that's what 2 Acre wants. That's hilarious. He wants a Yeti woman. It's fucking brilliant. Oh god, like. What? There's nothing wrong with a, you know, kind of like slightly hairy female, you know? I spend a lot of time in cold weather. I like snuggling up to something. Like, you got any idea how handy it is not having to buy socks? Like, It's like... I wouldn't turn her away. Most bears likely wouldn't, like... Oh, that's hilarious. DM me your proper address again. What, me? Or you talking to Dick or you talking to me? Those movers are both very funny in my opinion. What, movers? Those movers are both very funny in my opinion. What are you on about there? When Christ gave up his life on the cross, he went to hell to take the keys to hell and death, telling the lost about salvation. That's in the Bible, is he actually, like? So when they crucified him before he returned, he spent 3 days in hell getting the keys off Satan, being like, right, you've done a shit job. You fucking overplayed your hand entirely. You have broken the rules. Daddy's very upset with you. Like, he like grabs a load of people out of hell and he's like, right, I'm off back up top with these peeps, and there's nothing you can fucking do about it, Lucy, because you broke the rules. Lucy's just sitting there going like, okay, I just fucking, can you just go, I don't want to hear anything, like, just like, stop. Just like a real like self-righteous fucking like Christ showing up in hell with the fucking stigmata, you know, like limping because he's got holes in his feet. He's like, Lucy, come here, you. And Lucifer's just sitting there in the chair and he's just like, oh, this faggot, fuck's sake. Oh, what, Jesus, what do you want? Like, say, I have a bone to pick with you. Daddy's very upset. Like, I don't give a fuck what that prick thinks. Like, man, I think biblical parodies would be hilarious. And it would be a great way to, like, get people talking about and, like, you know, more interested in, like, because so many people have lost their faith, you know. And it's very unfortunate, like. It's very unfortunate. I love all the fucking, like, most fantasy and sci-fi and all, like, it's all from old myths, you know? It's all old mythological stuff. It's all the same shit again and again and again and again. And that's not necessarily a bad thing, you know? How beautiful, good and true is that you can take a story and tell it 10,000 different ways. That's awesome, you know. $50,000. Okay, fine, $8. What's that for? What's that? $50,000. Okay, fine, $8. Y'all want my help or not? What's that about? $50,000. Okay, fine. $8. What the fuck? You! 50 grand! Like, okay, fine. Eight. Like, spastic difference. In the space of a second, like, in a moment, like, 50 grand to less than a tenner. Like, oh. Okay. Let's put some cannons on this bitch. I'm feeling a bit too low actually today. Hold on a minute. I must ascend to slightly better paintingu posture. I'm gonna fix this pillow actually. This stool and this pillow make me feel like I weigh like 20 stone. Cause every time I get up from it, it's like flat as fuck. What do I weigh right now? I weigh 11.8 right now, which I'm not happy with. You know, the guy my height and my frame, I I should be like 13 stone or some shit. Like, I'm currently 11.8. It's like, ugh. I'm too lean. Like, don't get me wrong. I look gorgeous. I'm shredded, but I want to be fat. I should like. I should send Owen a letter and be like, Big Beru, how did you get so fat? Please give me your secret to fatness. As one who was really fat, can you please share with me, your humble servant, the secret to your fatness? And he'd just be like, my wife's cooking. Crush so hard that your wife can just cook for you all the time, you will get fat. Like, and I well believe, man, like, Wishy, like the female makes, like her baking. Oh my god, she made this massive cookie the other day. Just one big massive cookie, right? And we had like vanilla ice cream. The vanilla ice cream was bought from the store, as obviously was the ingredients to make the cookie. But she made it herself and put it in the oven and all, like, and it took about like 20 minutes, half an hour. And we had vanilla ice cream and this homemade cookie thing, and like, oh my fucking god, it's so good. Painting.
I demand to know what's going on in my house.
Okay, right. Where am I? What am I doing? Where's my bitches? Let's get them wet. We'll go with this much. I think it's about time I changed the water in the bucket. It's looking a bit murky down there. That's one of the things that I've said this before. It's really handy working with paints that are this highly this highly pigmented, because even though the water does get quite dirty, I do kind of, I wipe the excess out on the rag, and then I use the squirt gun or the fucking hair sprayer mister thing, whatever. It's not a mister, it's more of a squirt. I need to get my hands on a mister. Not in a gay way. Because this water is always clean, because I just fill it up. Like when I spray it on the palette, the parrot, or the canvas, it's clean water, you know. So, but I think if the pigments weren't as strong, it would actually, because I see it sometimes when I'm using the white, that the water's like dirty and stuff. But the pigment is so strong that it doesn't matter, you know, by the time it gets to the canvas. But I should change the water. I should change the water in the bucket. It's been like 3 weeks or something. It's like grey brown, you know, like. But it's gas, because like when I go to, every time I've gone to empty the bucket, the PEINTEINGU bucket, all the pigment is there's like a sediment of pigment at the bottom because of the type of paints that I'm using, like, and the water at the top is actually quite clear considering the amount of like pigment that I've thrown into it, like, but it all just sinks. It's cool. Like, I really would love to get into like alchemy or something, like, because I love watching the results of just the natural world interacting with each other. Like, what happens if I heat this up? What happens if I cool this down? What happens if I apply pressure to this? What happens if I ferment this? Like, all these different fascinating things, like, you know. I'd also love to know more about like plants and herbology and stuff, because I'm sick of looking at my garden and like not knowing what I'm looking at, you know. Like, pretty much my knowledge is like, that's a daisy, that's a weed, that's a rose, you know. I know they're like common shit, you know, but like I want to be able to look at something and be like, I can make a poultice out of that, you know, like. Anyway, Mix some grey. Get some cannons going on this bitch. I want to do a combination of like medieval weaponry and modern weaponry. Like part of me wants to put like a big dirty laser cannon coming out of the thing or something like. How cool would that be? Like a fucking an old school castle that had like, you know, modern or even like future tech woven into it. So like it's a medieval castle, but like the portcullis or the like, you know, the giant gate that typically is at the front behind the drawbridge or whatever is like a force field. Like, you know what I mean? Like that'd be deadly, like, you know. That'd be really funny actually if you had like all of these kings in a kingdom, you know, and they all have their castles and stuff, and like they're all like competing with like how cool their castle is or something like. And you have this one guy who's like got like solar panels and laser cannons on his castle, and he's there like looking around at the rest of them like, say, you and your gunpowder cannons, like, you fucking fag. Like, like, painting. I think we'll put like we'll put some here. Put weapon platforms here. Around that section. Go. Oh, glorious go. Put some weapon platforms there. What is this? An advertisement? How dare you? Yeah, I think the female actually has one on her phone. We've done that a few times in the garden. Like, I'll turn around to be like, ask your iPhone what that is. Yeah, like, but sometimes it can be, you want to make sure you get a decent one, because I think the basic Google one can like fuck up sometimes, where it's like, oh, this is one of these things, but it could also be one of these things, and like the second option is like really poisonous. Like, and you're like, okay, well, if it's the second, like, can you please give me like confirmation of which one it is? Because if it's the second one, I don't want to go fucking near the thing. Like, imagine being like, you know, like, obviously this probably wouldn't happen. Like, anyone who's an expert in plants would probably laugh their ass off at this. Like, well, that'll never happen. But like, speaking from my ignorance, like, how funny would that be that like you're like in a garden and you're like, what's that beautiful flower there? And you ask your phone and it's like, oh, it's like a purple, you know, blah blah blah. Like, it's a beautiful scent commonly used in, you know, scenting things, or like could be used for paint or something because it's pigments in its flowers or some shit. Like, and you're like, oh cool. Like, and then it turns out it's fucking hemlock or some shit. Like, you like harvest a load of it and you're dead an hour later. Like, oh. Don't trust your phones, they'll kill you. Oh, do you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna do the weapon platforms in wood, so they'll stand out, especially on the turrets here. So the turrets that I'm going to place on the turrets are going to be wooden turrets, because the concrete and brick or stone, the stone turrets. You know, it's like, man, seriously, how fucking annoying is that speaking the English language all the time? You have like fucking multiple different things for the same word. I'm starting to get sick of this shit. You know, like. Draw me a turret. Well, what kind of turret? Paint me a prophet. Well, what kind of prophet? Like, fuck's sake! Like, right, let's make some browner. We get some of the yarrow. Get some of the yarrow. Smidge of red, because the red is very powerful. And with a flick of my wrist, we have Arange. Here on Paintingu, we do not say orange, or image, or patronage. We say Orange, Image, Patronage. Domo arigato for your patronage. How cool would it be, and how funny would it be, if us speaking Japu on this stream, years from now, becomes, you know the way the Indians speak English and Hindu together? They speak Punjab and English together. I've spoken about this before, where you have like Indian TV shows where they're like, so I was at the shop yesterday and like they weave it in and out, and like, could you imagine if years from now there's people who are like doing that with like, well, there probably is people already doing that with Japanese and English, but I mean like, you'll see it in like a TV show or something, like, you know. Hi, that was nice of you. Like, hand me that. What are the hilarious? Need to put more red in this. That's not wood brown. That's not even brown. It's fucking like, that's olive green. It's like dark olive drab. We need way more red than that. I overestimated the power of red. There we go. Beautiful. Oh, we actually got like a burnt sienna cut up. Nice.
Get out of here!
Painting, goo. Paintingu. Oh, glorious. Kind of want to make it a bit brighter. Good shade, good hue. But wanted a tad brighter. Did I go too bright? I might have. It's one of those very rare occasions where too much white is in the vicinity. I am typically one of the opinion that you can never have too much white. But right now, too much. Yeah, like that's not even. That's like a. What's that color brown? Not sure. Paint. I'm trying to like color match it in my head. I'm like, what do you see in life that's like that shade of brown? Clay. Yeah, that's what that is. That's clay color. In my humble opinion, I believe it to be clay. Clay color, which is not what I want. I don't want clay. I want wood. I want that kind of burnt sienna color, but just a little bit lighter. You know? We'll get it. Throw some yellow in there. Throw some red in there. I thought it was so funny when I would first like start mixing my own colors and shit, and like how often I would get like a brown or a grey, and I'd just be like, fuck! Like, and I just had like loads of vials of brown and grey of various shades, which is like not a bad thing, you know, but like it's just so funny. What do I keep doing wrong? It's like because this stuff is so highly pigmented, like the ratio sometimes can be like kind of difficult. We're in the region, we're in the zone of burnt sienna again. But it's a bit too much red. So I'm gonna apply more yellow to this. Some more yellow. Brown's one of those colors as well that like you can have so many different shades of it, and then it starts like, you know, there's like it kind of sometimes brown is essentially just like dark orange, like, do you know what I mean? Because like that's you get orange and then add black, you get brown, you know, like, but it's like how much of each, like. It's one of the reasons why I'm really interested to try the magenta cyan yellow like color wheel instead of what I've been using, which is red, green, blue. Oh no, red, blue, yellow. Red, blue, like, you know, typical red, blue, yellow. But I do most of the time have green on a palette as well. It's just handy. It's like much easier to get bright green or a light green for stuff like grass and stuff like that. It's much easier to get that if you already have green and you apply some yellow. But if you're trying to get green from just yellow and blue, you'll get it. But then if you then try to get light green from that, it can be quite difficult. For me anyway, and it's probably because I'm using Prussian blue, which is like really dark blue. You know, it's kind of in the range of like ultramarine, you know, bordering on navy, because it's like so fucking rich. This should do. Yeah, much better, much brighter. Oh, glorious Keppel. Throw a little squirt on this so it doesn't enjoyable.
Dingo. Oh, how dare you!
Is the place to
It's
be.
always when I'm getting in fro.
Drive real results for your business with
Try
quality
fucking
leads that
off.
convert.
Don't tell me what to try.
And that's another thing, is it actually says this when you're using the gouache, is gouache has a tendency to dry darker than what it looks like when it's wet. You know, so sometimes you have to a lot of the time we have to take that into account and be like, oh, I actually have to go lighter, even lighter, because once it dries, it's going to darken a bit. Like, and apparently that doesn't happen with oils.
Hello?
weapon there, 2 weapons there. We'll do like 2 big cannons, 3 medium-sized cannons, and then we put like a god ray, or oh, we should put a wizard on that one casting spells or something. Yeah, that'd be cool. That's how you defend a castle. You employ a wizard. Like, you there, wizard! Cast me a storm. This raspberry vexes me. So what tactical spells do you have to dispense with a giant cowboy raspberry? Magic man? Well, it's very simple. I would simply cast a giant anvil above him, and it would crush him. Well, won't that make a load of kaiju raspberry juice flood the town, killing everyone anyway? Perhaps. Or everybody could have a really good time. Man, if I do end up making cartoons, they're gonna be fucking hilarious. Yeah, I'll go nearly white, not quite white, but I'll go nearly white for laying down the base of the turrets. Shape. Go. I told you to leave my berries alone.
I feel the urgency for change everywhere I go. I know.
I
that if we
fear
don't
the
take grip
urgency
of the
to do
party
this.
of the
You fucking bitch. 'Tis erection season. Glorious.
Can you hear it? Can you hear the sarcasm in my tone? I detest politicians. Their ways. We do what is essentially a typical cannon style.
Oh, glorious, careful. This is going to look glorious when it's all finished. Nothing quite right. Cannons ablaze. Facing down one's enemies or demons with the glorious raging hellfire of cannon fire. What will I put in these ones? Yeah, I could put like a big fat mortar looking thing. Imagine the size of the cannonball that would fit in something like that. Like a cannonball weighing in around like 2.5 tons, or probably way more because it'd be lead. Like if a small ball weighs like 8 pounds, like if you could get a cannonball the size of like a car and stick it in a giant fucking mortar thing that would launch it, like it'd be fucking crazy, like you know when you see artillery shells, like, and it's like, you know, like a dude has to like hold the thing, you know, it's like that, it's like a giant bullet, like, but like a cannonball, like it'd like be that big, like, you know, so it's like smaller than a football or something. Like, do you imagine a cannonball the size of a car, and then the cannon that would fit in, like, didn't the Nazis make a fucking cannon train called like Hilda or something, or Helga or some shit? And like, I think they actually built one, and then they had an idea. He had an idea for another even bigger one, but like the one they did build could fire something crazy. Like, was it like 61 kilometers away or some shit? I think it was able to reach France or some shit. I can't remember. Like specifically, like, you know. Imagine the fucking noise, like like if you were within a kilometer of that thing, you'd hear it go off. You'd hear it be like, and you could be like 1,000 meters away. Like 1,000 meters away from something like that isn't much at all. You'd probably hear that thing like in the next county over. Never mind a kilometer away. Like, I hear birds chirping. That's okay. What is this? Ooh, chocolate. Do not tempt me. Tiny squirt. Teeny tiny one. Ding, ding, goo, 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 goo. Ding, ding, goo, goo, goo. Painting goo 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 goo. Painting goo 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 goo.
It's gonna look awesome. Ooh. What if grape shot were fired from the cannon at the giant fairy? Yeah, like you could do that. You could fucking fill up a like giant diameter cannon, like a giant caliber cannon with just like loads of like a absolutely massive shotgun or blunderbuss. Like that'd be fucking glorious. But I also think it's just comical. Like you know, like imagine a cannonball like that's like huge, like shooting, and then just like a cannon fire that cannonball, like just like it's funny. I think that's a very American thing, you know, where like especially with like food and stuff like that. It's like, you know, what's the biggest burger we can make, or the biggest cake or something. Remember that's like in one of the Guinness World Records or some shit. Like some guy in, I think it was Texas or some shit, made like a giant oven capable of making like a giant pie or some shit. Like, could you imagine if like somebody like imagine a 10-foot diameter cannonball, and then like a cannon with like a fucking like a 10-foot like caliber, like forget like 40mm or like 150mm, like 10 foot. like that'd be fucking stupid. Like imagine the bang off that when you said it, like like you wouldn't be able to be anywhere near that thing when you fired it. Like ridiculous. Ding, ding, doo, 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 doo. Ding, 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 ding. Goo, 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 goo. Oh, excuse me. Right, my beloved Japanites, an hour over because I love you. Female staying late at work, so I could do a bit extra. But my ass is thoroughly numbed, and I believe we have, despite my rants, made excellent progress today. We have now installed some weaponry on Castle Lichtenstein. Oh, glorious. So, are you fearty monkey mortals? And my beloved Japanites, this concludes today's episode of Paintingu. I hope you enjoyed Ingu. And I will be back tomorrow! Same time, same place, same high-octane painting energy. You've never watched paint dry like this before. Admit it. You were in awe of my Paintingu skills. So, remember to pay for Paintingu if you love Paintingu. The links are in the description. In the meantime, be good, be true, and be beautiful. And I will see you tomorrow. Much love. God bless. Sayonara!